What's up, guys? It's Yags, and I gotta tell you, the Atlanta Hawks are having a sneaky good offseason. They've made very good moves, upgrading the roster. They had a really nice draft, and they have a clear direction in which way they want to take this team. And in today's video, we're gonna break that down. So before we get into the 2025 offseason, let's rewind back a bit just to see the Hawks trajectory. So we had the Hawks being the conference championship like 4 years ago, right? 2021. Then they made the Dejounte Murray trade. That didn't work out. They traded him again. Got Dyson Daniels back, which was really good. That was a sneaky good trade. I don't think anybody was expecting Dyson Daniels to turn out, to the perimeter demon that he is defensively. And basically every single year after that conference championship, they've been kind of, playing in the play-in. Sometimes they get in, sometimes they don't. So they're kind of like in the middle of the pack, and they really don't have a direction. Is Trae Young going to be there? Is Trae Young not going to be there? But I think with this year, I think they finally made the move to actually build around Trae Young and give him the weapons that he actually needs to thrive in this league. So let's see what they actually did, right? So the first thing they did was bring in Kristaps Porziņģis, which I thought was fantastic. They basically got Kristaps for dirt cheap, right? They sent out Georges Niang, a bad Trey Man contract and a second round pick for a top tier third option, in my opinion. And I get it. He's always hurt. You can't really count on him. When Porzingis is actually healthy, he is, to me, one of, if not the best, third option in the NBA, right? He's an elite shot blocker. He is an elite pick and roll big, pick and roll, pick and pop. He can basically do everything, and you have to respect him because he can drain the three from basically anywhere on the court. He's a very good post-up player, right? Like averaging about 1 point per post-up, which is the best in the NBA. So Porzingis gives that team like very good options, right? So he's an elite pick and roll big with Trae Young being an elite pick and roll guard. So that has to equal to something good. I don't see a world where that's not going to be very good basketball, right? And I also think Porzingis gives that team more flexibility in terms of who they put out on the floor, right? If they want to go small, they can put Jalen Johnson at the 4 and Porzingis at the 5. If they want to go a little bit bigger, they can put Porzingis at the 4 and then Onyeka at the 5. So I think that trade gives them a whole new look in terms of starting fives, what they can actually play with. And then at draft night, they also made huge moves, right? So they traded back from the 13th pick with the Pelicans, which the Pelicans sent out an unprotected first round pick, which I think a lot of people buzzed about, saying the Pelicans were crazy, etc. I'm a little bit bigger on the Pelicans roster than most people. I think that the Pelicans team, if they can stay healthy, they are actually a pretty good team, and they could, fight for a playoff spot. But either way, they traded down. They got Azanul, who's a really good prospect from Georgia, right? He's an in-state guy. He grew up in Atlanta. And I think, he's a little bit raw, but I think that if he develops well, he could be a really good option for that team for sure. And you also, the cherry on top is that unprotected first round, right? So if the Pelicans are not good, there is a possibility that they're not good, they could actually get, a top 10, even maybe a top 5 pick in the draft class that is completely stacked for 2026. So, I mean, that's just very good management by the front office, no doubt about it. And then when you look at what they did in free agency, they brought in right? They brought in Nickeil Alexander-Walker at a very good contract, 4 years, $62 million, basically paying him mid-level right there. And it gives them another guy at the point of attack, right? So you have Dyson Daniels, and you also have Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So you basically have that defensive demon on the perimeter at all times on the floor. I think gives them another option as a backup point guard when Trae Young isn't on the floor. I think he's very capable of that. And he's also that classic 3-and-D guy. He shoots 38% from 3. He's really developed that shot. So, I mean, just very good player. He can give you, 10, 12 points coming off the bench, but where he thrives is that defense side of the ball. No doubt about it. I think this is a very good, probably one of the best pickups in all of free agency. And then they weren't done there, right? So they got Luke Kennard from the Memphis Grizzlies, a guy that's a career 44% three-point shooter, right? The guy's been, 6-7 years in the league, and he shoots 44% from 3. That is just completely insane. He's not going to give you that much on the defensive side, but he's a guy that can just shoot lights out, right? And at very good volume. At 4, 5, 3 attempts a game, I mean, that's just exceptional three-point shooting. And then you have their other young guys who are still on the team, right? So you have Dyson Daniels, who basically blew up, right? Nobody was expecting that he was going to be the player that he was last year. Won most improved player of the year, was in the running for defensive player of the year. A guy that if he can take his offensive game up a notch, right? So he averaged 14 points a game. If he can take that up to 18, 20 points a game, I mean, he's going to be a complete stud in this league. Complete stud. It gives him another option. So he's still there. You got Zaccharie Risacher, who, started slow and then played very well at the end of the year, averaging about 13 points, shooting, 35, 36% from three, a guy that can play without the ball, right? He doesn't need the ball to thrive. So he played very well at the back end of the season. Then you have Jalen Johnson, right? Jalen Johnson, also a stud, was basically playing like a borderline all-star before his labrum injury. And he's another guy that can come back. Very, very good player. So when you look at this Hawks team, right, they have a very good 7-8 man rotation. No doubt about it. The front office has done a very, very good job. And like I said, clearly they have a direction that they want to follow. They want to put defensive shooters around Trae Young, and let their face of the franchise lead that team. And when you look at the Eastern Conference next year, the Atlanta Hawks should actually compete. They could actually contend and be a sneaky candidate to win the East. Because you have Boston that traded away most of the team, right? They have a completely new look. Jason Tatum is recovering from that Achilles injury. The Indiana Pacers don't have Miles Turner, and Tyrese Halliburton is probably not going to play next year. The Knicks will be good. I feel like the Magic will be good as well. But the Sixers, you never know with them. You never know. I think on paper, they're actually a very good team, but are they going to be able to stay healthy? Nobody knows, right? Atlanta can definitely beat that Miami team, and I think they can most likely beat that Pistons team as well, which I also like very much. I really think Atlanta has a shot. I really think they are a sneaky contender to win the East, and I just think their front office did everything right. They really did. I think Hawks fans should be very, very happy for what's going on in Atlanta right now. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that the Hawks will be a top 4, top 3 team in the East? And can Trae Young lead them to a deep playoff run? I'd really love to know. As always, if you enjoy the content, leave a like, leave a subscribe. It really helps me out. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.